Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the JL Industries. This is their part number RHGIZ B004 shock and spring assembly. Okay, this is a modern or current shock and spring assembly. This is going to be used in their particular applications where you're dealing with what JL Industries would call a Generation 3 rough hatch. It's not the current generation. That current generation is called the Diamond series. And, you know, where this shock is going to show up on different rough hatches, we don't know exactly. We don't have a master list that says, the RHGIZ B004. And by the way, this video is on the B004 and the B002. The only difference between them is that the 004 is a single shock unit, a single lifting mechanism. The 002 is a set of two. I probably would have called them B001 and B002. But nonetheless, when you buy the B004, you're buying one unit, and the 002 if you need them on both sides. So because we don't really know exactly where they're going to be used, even though the factory says Generation 3 roof hatch, well, that doesn't kind of help some of us understand where we're going to locate it. What my intention of this video is to give you all of the visual and dimensional evidence of the item. Look at the installation instructions as well, so that you can determine if this is the proper item for your use. So here we go with a tour of the product. Overall height of the tube, the top tube is 9-inch. To the top of the mounting bracket down is about 8 7/8. The bottom tube overall length about 8 9/16. A defining characteristic on the B002 and 004 is that a bolt will run through the bottom of the tube into its mounting bracket in the sidewall. Okay, this doesn't have a welded on foot, doesn't clip into something, it just has a bolt that goes through. That will be a defining characteristic. This also has a flared end on the top telescoping tube to facilitate functionality. Okay, if these pieces are out, separated a little bit, they want them with those flared ends to be, more easily coaxed into position as a result of that flared out end that you see there. Another common question is, what's the outside diameter of the tubes? And let's take those dimensions now. The upper tube is 1.884 on the diameter of the upper tube. The lower tube is 1.638. 1.638 is the diameter on the lower tube. Now let's continue on. Here's the business end, obviously, of the entire, our honored guest of this dinner party, I suppose. Overall length of the spring itself looks like it's about 15 3/4. Okay, 15 3/4. Because customers will call and say, yeah, my spring is so-and-so length. Okay, who's the manufacturer of the roof hatch? I have no idea. Well, there's lots of springs out there, but these dimensions will hopefully allow you to determine whose it is. An outside diameter of the spring would be 1.245, and then a coil diameter of the spring itself, 0.191 diameter. Okay. Now, continuing on, you're going to get your upper bracket. Now, there is one of each hand here because this kit is literally the B002. When you order the B004, you're likely going to get the lifting mechanism that's going to be on the left side when you face the roof hatch. If for some reason you want to buy one lifting mechanism and you want to be sure you get the right bracket, I would definitely include that information in the comment field. When you're on the roof facing the hatch and it's open, the left is on the left and the right's on the right. So that's how you'll know. The bracket, overall length, about 2 7/8. Overall depth, about 1.5 inches. Overall height of the bracket, about 2 1/4. Center line of that hole to the bottom of the base, about 1 13/16 inches. Center line of these mounting screws appears to be right at about 2 inch. Okay, those are the two brackets. After that, there's not much to go over. You're going to get, you are going to get your 2 bolts, hex cap bolts, thread forming hex cap bolts to get that mounted to the underside of the lid. You are going to get your nylon lock nut and the hex cap screw to allow you to make this connection. Then you're going to get your hex cap screw and your nylon lock nut to go through the bottom of the base here. That bottom boot is not included. It is very likely something that is welded to the sidewall of your unit, so no reason to work with that at all, so that's not included with this. Then the last thing that you're going to get is some white lithium grease. White lithium grease is really good at being water repellent. You're going to want to coat the spring with it. Use the whole tube, coat the spring with it, keep water off of it, keep it from rusting long term. This is obviously a Loctite product. Henkel is the name of the Loctite is the brand name. Henkel is the corporation. Known as Loctite white lithium grease. Minimize friction, prevents rust, water repellent, multi-purpose. White lithium grease is if you are in the hardware business, graphite is a good lubricant for cylinders. It's dry. But if you have moving parts that work against other surfaces, white lithium grease is a good option. You'll certainly want to, in my opinion, wear disposable gloves while you're applying this so that you don't have to wash your hands so vigorously when you're done. Okay. Wash thoroughly after handling. Eye and face protection. And plenty of soap. Don't get it in your eyes. And that's everything. So if you bought the 002, you're getting 2 sets of all of this, 2 sets of everything. And the brackets will be 1 of each hand. Now there is a link below this video to the parts diagram. And let's dive in. Let's switch to a screen view and take a closer look at all of this. Now here is the item that we're looking at, and admittedly what you're seeing here now will be different by the time you get to it because the design has changed, quite frankly. So these images are in the process of being updated. But there is a link to the parts drawing that's here, and here it is. This is the B002, and this would be a parts drawing for the 002 variant, where you're going to get 2 springs, upper and lower tubes. It's all detailed here. Gray hammered, I'm not sure what they call the paint, hammer tone, gray hammered paint. Right bracket, left bracket. Okay. Your bolts are listed there as well. And that's everything. So when you buy a set of 2, you're going to get everything on here. Now, and they're included with the packaging, but there is also a link to the installation instructions. And this will allow us to go over the installation procedure. Scrolling through, let's go through it. See if we reveal anything that seems odd. 7/16 wrench, 9/16 wrench, 1/2 inch wrench. I'm thinking a socket set. Compression rod assembly from JL. So this does not include a compression rod assembly from JL. So, seeing as how this does not include the compression rod assembly, let's continue on. Installed. This is a 2-person job, 30-minute job, they say. Installed roof hatch considerations. We recommend that installers use fall protection safety equipment while performing this work. Installer may find use of a tool bag to hold replacement parts, compression rod, and wrenches helpful. Okay. Hardware, you've got your bolts listed here. So replace top cylinder bracket, cylinder and spring. Note, do them one at a time. Yeah, that would make sense. It'll at least help control where the lid is. Open the roof hatch, engage the automatic hold open arm, remove the D that attaches the cylinder top to the bracket on the lid. So you're going to remove your bolts there. Remove steel cylinder top and spring and discard. Remove the 2 screws in A. This would be wire. Okay, so don't remove these 2 A screws. Don't remove those. That's the hold open bracket. Well, actually, yeah, don't remove these 2 A screws. These are what they're talking about. Notice that the bracket is tapered towards the back wall or down when it is to be installed, when you're installing it correctly. Install the new top bracket. Remove the B bolt down at the bottom. That will allow you to get that lower tube off. Install the new bottom cylinder. Smaller diameter of the 2 tubes naturally to bottom bracket using the new bolts that are provided. Tighten, make sure that the cylinder is able to pivot freely. And lubricate spring with the grease provided in the bag and insert into bottom cylinder. Now, place new cylinder top, larger diameter, over spring and bottom cylinder. Raise to vertical position. This is where this compression tool comes into play, because what you need to do is get the assembly compressed to where you can get it bolted together. So remove rectangular block from the end of the compression tool. You're going to, if you're doing this work, we're going to add a link below this video to the JL cylinder compression tool. It's not included with this set. It's included with other sets, and why it's not with this, I don't know. But the installation instructions clearly require the ability to compress this cylinder. So remove the long block. The head, the threaded rod has a washer. This is a nut that's just been tack welded on, and you'll insert all of this assembly down into the top tube, through the spring, down and come out of the bottom tube, and that's where you will then attach your block again. Okay? At that point, you will start to tighten that so that you can draw the spring into a compressed state to get it to line up with your lid bracket. Okay? At that point, you'll attach the lid bracket. And then I think the installation instruction goes on replace side brackets for hold open. Yeah, there are no side brackets included here. I'm not sure why they're referring to the hold open arm assembly at all. So the installation is simple and straightforward, and once you have it bolted at the top, you will then unscrew your compression tool and save it, would be my recommendation, so that you can use it in the future. I cannot think of an elegant way to compress that spring at all, unless you had an incredibly large C-clamp. And even at that point, you'd want to use a block of wood top and bottom. Now, the 004 is here, the 002 is here. It's a better drawing, or at least it's a photograph of what's included in the 002. The B002 and the B004 replace the A004 as seen here, which is discontinued. What I recall about this is that it was it was not flared here at the top. It has been long discontinued, and it might have been a replacement for the A388. Okay, so they, JL Industries and all roof hatch manufacturers are a bit cagey about having that information portrayed up front in terms of here's the lifting mechanism you need. But the point of this video is to help dispel, eliminate the guesswork in terms of what you might need. So that's the installation instructions. I'm going to get from the factory the cost for that compression tool and get it added and linked to in both of these items. What I wanted to show was going to be the current version, which is the, I think it's oh, here it is. RHD, Roof Hatch Diamond. RHD-KIT Retro SPR-G1. This is the new style. And according to the manufacturer, it's backwards compatible. We'll replace all the old ones. Okay. This obviously should say B002 as well. And that will include this updated version of the compression tool. Here, they have the compression tool here as well. A set of 2 springs. They've got a helper spring that's included, and I don't believe it's obligatory to use them both, but I believe it to play the role as a helper spring, should it be necessary. Okay, so that's the current one that's out right now. Let's finish up this video on camera. So the purpose of this video was to just help give dimensional evidence of this item. Hopefully that will prove to be adequate to allow you to definitively confirm that this is the item that you need to do the replacement work required. And if it's not definitive enough, reach out to us. What we'd like to see are photographs of the roof hatch so that we can contact the factory and find out exactly what we are dealing with in terms of getting you the right parts. Sometimes we do very much need to leverage the knowledge at the factory. Now there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page, and on that page you can pull up the product catalog, you can pull up all the JL Industries products we sell, other resources that are there, roof hatch replacement and spare parts list, other resource documents that we place there. JL is into a lot more than just roof hatches. They're part of a larger group of companies. I think Activar is the name. Yeah, it is Activar Industries. Under Activar, you're going to have JL Industries, roof hatches, access panels, fire extinguishers, fire extinguisher cabinets, Air Louvers. Air Louver is a company in California that manufactures steel, stainless steel, probably bronze, metal vision frames and metal louvers for use in wood and steel doors. Hiawatha is a trim and auxiliary company, push plates, pull plates, things of that nature. Samson, Thomas, and Rooftop Accessories. We do not deal with those people at all because it's outside of what we do. Yeah, I'm not sure about Samson, Thomas, and Rooftop Accessories, what that material involves. So we get into the JL, the Air Louver, and the Hiawatha aspect of Activar. They keep us in the door-related sort of part of the industry. Anyway, if you have any questions on the JL Industries, this is their part number RHGIZ B004 or B002 or any other JL Industries product. Please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.